Okay, welcome back students. We're still on text and text 3 18.4, but we can use these for junior cert and for leaving cert. Okay, this time it's a little bit different. We're given the volume. So the first thing we're going to write down is, say, the volume formula, which for this is pi r squared h. Now we're going to sub in everything we know along here, including the fact that we know the volume is 350 pi. So we'll put in 350 pi equals. So this is a bit like comparing two volumes, and we're comparing it with this known volume, calculated volume, to the cylinder. So that's why we're comparing. We have an equals 350 pi, this bit here, is equal to pi r squared, and h is 14. Okay, now we'll worry about, we're not putting in the calculator or anything now, so we won't worry about the multiplication signs or anything. We'll divide pi there, and now remember, you're looking for the term that contains your unknown. I want to write this down. You should write this down to learn your maths. Okay, find the, it's not a term because there's no pluses and minuses. Find the factor with the unknown. Now in our case, the unknown is the letter is r. So find the factor with r in it. This. Let's do a circle on it. Okay. Now look at the other factors, and these are multiplicative factors, they're multiplying, and divide them down. Oh, that's not one, it's gone. So the 14 goes down, and we'll reflect left and right. We get r squared equals 350 divided by 14. Now before we go to our calculator, we will take a square root, because if we're doing algebra we might as well keep going until we've isolated r. So we've isolated r squared, that's good, but we haven't isolated enough. So the next thing is we have to think about what's the operation that's going on here. It's a square. Use your calculator to help you here. A square is what's going on, and the inverse is a square root. So because you're looking at a square, we're going to inverse with a square root. Just like if you were looking with a multiplication, you would inverse with a divide, and you'd inverse with these. So they're beside each other. Isn't that nice? I bet you they're, let's see, are they beside each other on this one? Yeah, well, no, they're not. Okay, so they are beside each other here, and we're taking a square root, so the square goes away. So it's as if this square goes away because r squared turns into r, and the other one becomes a square root. So the fraction goes in under the square root, and we'll put that into our calculator now. Okay, which is the square root of, I think I can do 350 and then fraction bar. The fraction bar is still captured within the square root. Okay, and we are doing 14 here, and we'll just hit equals to see what happens. So it went in perfectly. It came out at 5. So this would have been 25, and it comes out that r equals 5. Be careful, but everything seems to be in centimeters, so that was fair enough. Okay, that's great. We've question 4 done. Write down the formula for the curved surface area of a cylinder. Okay, and we just called it A, I suppose, and we'd use total A if not, because that's what the formula does. Well, this is the curved surface area. So area equals 2 pi r h. The curved surface area of a cylinder is 110 centimeters squared. If the height of the cylinder is 5, so there's lots of, this is a word problem, so stuff has started to happen here. I need to write it down. So I'll say here equals 110. We'll come back with the units towards the end. If the height of the cylinder is 5, so I'll fill in 5 here. So it's 2 pi. Again, we're not doing the calculator yet, so it doesn't matter about how silly it looks. I can write that 2 pi r 5 equals 110. Okay, so they didn't put a pi in there, but it's okay, it's real numbers and the numbers will look after themselves. Okay, so I could tidy this up to 10 pi r, but it would also be okay to divide them in. Okay, I could tidy up now by dividing in the 10 just by taking the 10 and 0. So I think I'm okay so far now. 10 and 0, and I have pi r, and I want the pi. The pi is just a number. Now this might be a bit confusing for you. The r is what we want, and the pi looks like, well, it's not a number, but it is a number. Okay, it is a number, and it can move over and back like numbers do, dividing and whatever we have to do with it using inverse operations. So it is a number. So r is equal to 11 over 5. Now we could do that in our heads. That's 2.2. Okay, centimeters. Now you don't have a back of a book in an exam. You've got to say, did I do everything right? Does it look right? Does it seem to make sense? And so on. You could fill it back in and you should get it, but there's nothing there to suggest that it wouldn't have worked. Okay, that was question 5. Now we're on question 6. I'll do let's say 6 in the next one.